Okay, so you are welcome to this channel, and we are going to continue with topic 2 for sociology. So with topic 2, we are trying to find out the founding personalities and their sociological perspective, the people that came out with what sociology and how they studied the society, or how their perspective about sociology. So this topic talks of the early thinkers of sociology, and there are different ways they use to study society. So these thinkers developed some theories that helped us to understand how society works, how people behave in certain ways, and how different social structures influence our lives. Please hope you are getting it. Good. So with this, we get to move to the first person called Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte. That's from 1798 to 1857. So he was a Frenchman who lived in what? From 1798 to 1857, born in Montpellier. So his goal was to the improvement of society because the destructive effect of the French industrial revolutions. Hope you are getting it. So he was the founder of sociology. He was the founder, or he was the father of sociology. He was the one who came up with the what? With the idea of what? Sociology. So with Auguste Comte, he's the father of sociology. So you have to take note. The father of sociology is Auguste Comte. And then it was coined in 1838. That was combining the Latin word social, which is society and companion, with the Greek word logos, which is the study of. So sociology is the study of what? Society. The study of society and how these society affects people, affects individuals, how they behave, and how they are going to go about their things. Please hope you are getting it. So with Auguste Comte, he came up with the methodology. When you talk of methodology, Auguste Comte's way of studying society was the use of positivism. When you talk of the use of positivism, it talks about the scientific method to uncovering the laws of society. So he believed that society should be studied scientifically, just like the natural world. For example, physics or biology. You see the way we used to study biology, you see the way we used to study physics, we are trying to uncover laws. So with Auguste Comte, he brought up the word, the positivism. So kindly take note of this methodology aspect, because it is likely that you find it in what? The exams room, or you find it in your exams questions. So with this, he was able to let us understand that in order to study society, we have to use the scientific method to study society. And how could it be done? When talk of scientific method, you know that science is the use of observation, experimentation, and a comparison, and also the historical method to uncover the laws of the natural world. Hope you are getting it. So, for example, imagine you see a group of people always following the traffic rules. Imagine you are seeing a group of people always following the traffic rules. So you'd be like, um, when stopping at the red light and then using the pedestrian crossing. So Comte would say that society follows patterns and rules, just like science. By the studying by studying these patterns, we can predict social behavior and make improvement. So that was for Auguste Comte. He was able to let us understand that that is how society used to be. That's why I gave the scenario. That this is how the scenario works. That imagine people are stopping at a traffic light. Auguste Comte is interested, or would say that society follow patterns and rules. And by studying these patterns, we can predict their behavior. Please hope you are getting it. Good. So one of the aspect that you could know about Auguste Comte is what? The positivism. That means the application of scientific method to uncover the laws of society. We are good to go, right? Great. So with this, he came up with the division of sociology. The division of sociology. And when you say the division of sociology, his contribution divided sociology into two parts. That's social statics and social dynamics. I repeat, according to Auguste Comte's contribution, that the use of his use of his positivism, he was able to come up with two aspects of sociology. That's the social statics and the social dynamics. So with the social status, it involves the study of conditions and process by which overall structure of society relatively remains stable over time. So it's like social static talks of what keeps the society stable. In a simple way, what keeps the society what stable. So with Agnes Kant, as he came out with the positivism, he came up with two aspects of sociology: the social statics and the social dynamics. The social static talks of what keeps the society stable, and then to make it simple for the social dynamics, it means what keeps or what causes society to change. So the factors that causes society to be stable, that social statics, is what? Religion, family, traditions. It can make society, or it can make the social world to be stable. But with social dynamics, what causes or what can cause the society to change? One is what? Technology advancement. Because as technology is being advanced, as you know that AI has been advanced, or there's the introduction of AI, the society is gradually what? Changing. That are the aspect of what Agus Comte. Please hope you are getting it. So with this, he was able to understand that the three laws, or the three stages, or the law of human progress. The law of human what? Progress. So with this, he came up with the theological stage. The theological stage. So when we're talking of the laws, as I said, the theological stage, when we're talking of the three laws, it talks of um how human thinking evolve over time, how human thinkings improve over time. And the first one was on the theological stage. So the theological stage, the stage during which thoughts and explanations were guided by religious ideas. So for example of the theological stage is like people explain events through religion. For example, the lightning. So in case lightning struck, you'll be like, lightning is caused by what? The gods. Please hope you are getting it. Good. So that was how the theological stage used to explain how human thinking evolved over time. Because with the theological stage, we are trying to explain behaviors and things through religion. So whilst lightning are strike, we'll be like, oh, this lightning is coming from the gods. Please hope you are getting it. Good. But with the metaphysical stage, it means that people use abstract ideas like fate or destiny. So in case something happens, you'll be like, oh, this thing is caused by fate, this thing is caused by luck, this thing is by destiny. Hope you're getting it. So you are trying to understand sociology in a certain way that you get to relate well with your society. Please hope you are getting it. Good. So with the metaphysical state, it means using what? Ideas like fate or destiny to explain things. So that someone will be like, bad luck causes my failure, or maybe instead of the person attributing his failure to his inadequacy in studies, he'll be like, oh, this one is bad luck, or this one is my destiny. So he's trying to explain things that is happening to him through abstract stage, or through the abstract way, or that's the metaphysical work stage. But the positive stage talks of what? People use signs and observations. People use science and observation. So you see, with the theological, we're trying to talk of the lightning. When it strikes, we say it is caused by the gods. But when we get to the positive stage or the scientific stage, it means people are trying to explain the happenings through science. So we'll be like, oh, the lightning was caused by what? Electric charges. Hope you are getting it. Great. So that's how you get to understand the concept of what about what I guess comes his suggestion. So with this, we move on to his idea. And one of his idea was the hierarchy of science. He said that he arranged the sciences in the hierarchical order from the least complex to the most complex. Hierarchy of sciences. So the hierarchy was from mathematics, followed by astronomy to mechanics, physics, chemistry, biology, and then sociology. So it was Augustine who arranged sociology, or who arranged sociology in the hierarchical order. That means the hierarchy of sciences from the least to the most complex. And it's true. The most complex aspect, or the most complex study, is not astronomy, it's not mechanics, it's not maths, it's not physics, it's not chemistry, but it's sociology. So he arranged it from the least to the most complex. So you have to study or you have to take note of this. It might, or you can see, it's a likely question that you can see in your questions during exams. So with this, we move on to the hierarchy. It says sociology is recognized as the last science, but the most significant and the complex of all sciences. It's true, because sociology tells of what? Human behavior, and it's very difficult to study the behavior of humans. Hope you are getting it. So because of this, Agascon said that it is therefore recognized as the queen of the sciences. So sociology is recognized as the queen of what? The sciences. Please hope you are getting it. Great. So that's what this idea was brought about, because Agascon came about these things, and which actually helped us in understanding what is expected of us. Please hope you are getting it. Great. So with this, we move on to the next one. In his latter days, he advocated for religion of humanity to replace traditional religion. That is, he was trying to let us understand that this new religion will abandon faith and dogma in favor of science with sociology at heart of these people. Comte would be a prophet or high spirit, whereas sociologists would be the priest of this religion. That's in his letter. He was trying to let us know that in the religion of humanity, we have to replace with the traditional religion. That's whereby sociology becomes the most aspect thing that we can use to study society. Hope you are good with it. Great. So we move on to Karl Marx. Karl Marx. So Karl Marx is one of the founding personalities of sociology. And with Karl Marx was born in 1888 in Trier in Rhineland district of Germany. He was a philosopher, an economist, and a sociologist. He was influenced by the number of social thinkers, so including George Hegel. So Hegel came out with a dialectical scheme. A dialectical scheme. So with Karl Marx believed that society is shaped by the class struggle. You get the class what struggle. So he argued that capitalism, where businesses are privately owned, creates inequality because the rich exploit the poor. So he predicted that one day the workers would unite and create a fair classes society. That's for Karl Marx. So I have explained Karl Marx's idea, very simple, that for Karl Marx, he believed that society is shaped by the class struggle. The class struggle means the rich versus the poor, employer versus worker. Hope you are getting it. So the class struggle. And he was like, his social thinkers were influenced by George Hegel. So Karl Marx argued that capitalism, whereby when you talk of capitalism, is whereby businesses are privately owned, create inequality because the rich exploit the poor. So he was waiting out. He predicted that one day we could all come together and create a fair, classless what society. Hope you are getting it. So imagine, I'll be explaining this to you. So imagine a company where the boss earns millions while workers get very little despite working long hours. The workers go on strike demanding better wages and working conditions. And this is an example of class what conflict, just as Marx was described. Hope you are getting it. Because his contribution was develop the conflict theory, so that society is always in a conflict due to inequality. Please hope you are getting it. Great. So that was what Karl Marx was trying to let us what understand. Please hope you're getting it. So Hegel conception of dialectic was based on ideas. That's why I said ideas. Therefore, refer to dialectical idealism it's referred to as the dialectical idealism thesis or the antithesis, and also the synthesis right as works. So Marx applied Hegel dialectics to materialistic analysis of history. So we're moving on. You understand it very clear. So according to Karl Marx, he came about the economic determinism. So when you talk of the economic determinism, I'm trying to explain this whole aspect here. When you talk of the economic determinism, it means that The economy shapes everything in society, including politics, religion, and education. Simple. So economic system is a fundamental determinant of the structure and the development of a society, according to Karl Marx. Kindly take note of this. You might get it, or it's a likely question to find it in the exams room, or with it, or with your questions as well. So the economic system constitutes the substructure or the infrastructure. So the base and the so the with this substructure, which is the base, that is the economic system, the capitalism or the communism. You get it? So we said that the economic system or the economy shapes everything in society according to Karl Marx. So it influences all aspects of society, such as politics, religion, education, marriage, etc., which is the superstructure. So the superstructure consists of the institution built on the economy, government. That's an example like the government, the laws, and the culture. Hope you're getting it. Great. So according to Kamal, he was like, there's a class struggle. His own was about the class struggle, the rich and the poor. And he was like, the economic system determines the structure of the society. Hope you're getting it. Great. So with this, you move on to the class theory. So the class theory to him, that is according to Karl Marx, in all stratified societies, there are two major social classes, namely the ruling class and the subject class. So the ideas of the ruling class become dominant, resulting in false class consciousness. False class consciousness, whereby he's trying to let us understand that because there's a class theory, because we have the ruling class and the subject class, always the ruling class is having that consciousness that they have power over the subject class. But here's the case that Karl Marx wanted them to be, the society to be a fair and a classless society. Hope you're getting it. Good. So with this, he said the ruling class dominate the subject class, accounting for class struggle, as I said, which is the driving force of history and social change. You get it? So Marx and Engels in the Communist Manifesto, the history of all hitherto existing is the history of class struggles, the class struggles, the rich and the poor, employer and employee, and the rest. Okay, so his ideas of class struggle is known as the historical materialism. That is, history is shaped by economic system. That's what I explained. If you talk of historical materialism, it means that history is shaped by economic what system. Hope you're getting it. So with Karl Marx, as I said here, the historical materialism talks of what? The application of Hegel's dialectic from a materialistic perspective to the analysis of the Western history. So the dialectical materialism is the contradictions in a society based on the material life. That's what I've explained. So let's say a factory worker earns a very little while the owner makes millions. Marx will say this is class exploitation. You get it? And the revolution may happen if workers what? Unite. Hope you're good with it. Great. So in his history, or according to Kama, in his historical analysis, right? Yeah, sorry. He came out with 4 different economic systems. That is, we have the primitive community that's had communal ownership of the mode of production. Second one is what? The Asian state. That is based on slave labor, masters and slaves. Please kindly take note of this aspect, very serious. You will see them in, or it's a likely question to see them in the exams. So the primitive what? Communism had a communal ownership of the mode of production, and also the Asian state talks of the based on slave labor, masters and slaves. Hope you're getting it. And the feudal state based on a serfdom, that's lord and serfs. And a capitalist stage based on wage labor, that's the bourgeoisie and the bourgeoisie and the proletariat here. So with the bourgeoisie, it's like owners of factories, and the proletariat is like workers who sell labor for workers and for wages rather. Sorry. So to him, there would be a struggle between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, leading to the formation of traditional period called the dictatorship of the what? The proletariat. As later, the communist stage, which will be characterized by classlessness and thus no class struggle, leading to an end of history. So with Karl Marx, he wanted to end this history, whereby here is the case where there'll be a dictatorship or the dictatorship of the proletariat. Please hope you are getting it. Great. So we move on to the next person. His alienation is that is when you talk of Karl Marx alienation, what he was trying to let us understand, that he wanted us to know that um his his alienation talks of workers, like workers feel disconnected from their labor because they work long hours but don't own what they produce. You can work for long hours but you don't own what you produce. That's the meaning of alienation. So it is a condition in which men are dominated by forces of their own creation after affecting their personality and relationship with others. So take note of it, the alienation, take note of it, whereby you are being dominated by your own creation. That is, workers feel disconnected from their labor because they work long hours but don't own what they produce. And it's true, you can work for like 24 hours, but you can never own what you produce because you are just what? A worker. Please hope you're getting it. Great. So with the religion, that's the opium of the masses. Opium of the masses. And then with that, um, that's all for Karl Marx. That's all for Karl Marx. Now we move on to Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer. So with Herbert Spencer, he's a British, born in Derby in the English Midlands, in the heart of the British what? Industry. The British industry. So in a terms of methodology, talking of the method that Herbert used to explain society, he used the what? The comparison. That is different societies. Societies are different stages, and also functional analysis. Please hope you are getting it. So the foundation of his idea is the law of evolution what? Change. The law of evolution change. So let me try and explain Herbert Spencer's idea of sociology. Herbert Spencer compares society to a living organism, just like a body, or just like the human body. You get it? So just as the body has different organs, that's the heart, the lungs, the brain, they all work together and they must work together. You get it? So those different parts of society, such as education, government, and economy, must function together for stability. For stability. So with Herbert Spencer, he also believed that what? That there's a survival of the fittest, whereby strong individuals in society would succeed and while weaker ones would decline. Hope you're good. So with Herbert Spencer idea, he was trying to let us understand that since you have different aspects in societies, they all come together for us to perform the functional analysis of of societies. Hope you get it. So Spencer also wrote on societal growth as a result of increase in population from the joining of previously unrelated units. And also he moved on to he gained he again engaged in the classification of societies, and with that the classification of societies, he came up with on the basis of evolutionary complexity relating to the classification according to the degrees of structural complexity. He identified four societies. Who identifies four societies? Herbert Spencer identified four societies. So with Herbert Spencer, I forgot to say that his contribution was the functionalist perspective. Take note of it. Herbert Spencer's contribution was functionalist what? Perspective, which is society sees or it sees society as a system where everything plays a role in keeping society stable. That's for Herbert Spencer. He was trying to let us understand that with him, he is much concerned about the functionalist perspective, where all aspects of the society or every aspect of the society, or he sees society as a system. Let me say it this way. He sees society as a system. And then within this system, that's whereby everything plays a key role. Education plays a role, government plays a role, agriculture plays a role. All these plays a role in keeping the society was stable. As I said earlier, as compared to the human part, they all come together to make sure that you function properly as a human being. Hope it's well understood. Great. So with this, he double compound society where okay, so with the four societies, as Herbert Spencer came out, he came out with a simple society which consists of families, and then compound societies where families unified into what? Clans. Take note of it. Simple societies which consists of families, compound societies where families unified into clans. Hope you are getting it. And then the third one is double compound societies where clans unified into tribes. It's very easy. Tribally compound societies in which tribes unified into nations or states. So there's an increase in complexity of structures. So classify societies on the basis of what type of internal regulation or the regulatory system. So Herbert Spencer, he classified society on the type or on the basis type of what? The internal regulation. The internal regulation. Please hope you are good with it. Great. So that's for the idea for what Herbert Spencer. And then we move on as he was able to talk of that with this he distinguished. So when he came about the internal regulation, he was able to distinguish whereby there's a difference between the militant industry and the militant and the industry or industrial societies. So with the militant societies, it is controlled by force and there's limited freedom. I'm just explaining everything to you in the simplest way for you to understand the concept, the idea, and appreciate this course as well. So the militant societies is a society that's controlled by force, and then it has limited what? Freedom. That's how you call the militant society, the military. You get it? So for example, like the dictatorship, yeah, that's how it is. But for the industrial societies, it focuses on voluntary cooperation and progress. Voluntary cooperations and what? Progress. So it encourages those aspects. So for us, for a scenario like this, a businessman refuses to help the poor, saying they must work harder. Spencer would argue this is a natural selection in society. I'm just trying to explain some aspects to you which become very simple and easy for you to understand the concept very, very well. And then he was with Herbert Spencer, he was individualistic to a large extent in his focus. So with this he came up with an organic analogy. So with the organic analogy, he was trying to let us understand that um society functions like a living organism where different parts, for example institutions, must work together. You get it? So he was establishing the similarities and differences between the biological and the social organism. So he was trying to let us understand that there's a similarities, and these similarities have progressive differentiation of structure and functions, and the parts are interdependent and among others. So with I'm trying to make everything simple for you. So with his analogy, or with his organic analogy, it was trying to let us understand that society functions like living organism where different parts must work together. Please hope you are good to go. Great. Where different parts can work what? Together. You get? So they have progressive differentiation of structure and functions, and have progressive differentiation of structure and functions, and the parts are interdependent among others. That's it. So great. Fantastic. Good. So we are moving to the differences. So he noted that apart from a concrete wall in an organism, whilst the parts are free and more dispersed in society. So again, in organism, Consciousness is concentrated in small parts, but in society, it is diffused through members. That's the differences. So he noted that the parts from the concrete world in an organism, whilst the parts are free and more dispersed in what? Society. Please repeat again. So strong individuals will thrive whilst others will fail. We are going to get there as soon as possible, but note these differences very, very carefully. It will actually be in your, it can be a likely question. You can find it in your exam soon as well. We move on to the notion of the non-intervention of the survivor of the fittest. So he believed that society should not interfere in the affairs of individuals for societal progress to be realized. So with Herbert Spencer, he argued that no one should interfere in the individuals in the society. You get it? So these obstacles, that's why you move to the second, that obstacles to an objective study of society. There are different kinds of biases, including biases of patriotism, the class bias, the political bias that he identified. So with that, he's saying that no one should interfere in this affairs of the individual, so that we can recognize what society as well. And then with Herbert Spencer came about with the social Darwinism. That is, he borrowed from Charles Darwin that evolution theory, the survival of the fittest. So the survival of the fittest was borrowed from Charles Darwin evolution theory. That is, strong individuals and societies will thrive whilst weak ones will fail. He argued that the government should not interfere with poor people's struggles because only the strongest will survive. That's according to Charles Darwin, his idea of this survivor of the fittest. So Herbert Spencer borrowed that notion from Charles Darwin. So we move on to the next person, and the next person is Emil Durkheim. So with Emil Durkheim, he was a Frenchman, and the main thrust of his overall doctrine is his insistence that the study of society must eschew reductionism or reductionism. So they must eschew reductionism. Please hope you are getting it. Good. So with Emile Durkheim, he was a Frenchman, as I said earlier, and then he was trying to let us understand that okay, let me try and explain his concepts of sociology to you in very simple way. So they can believe people's actions are influenced by social forces rather than just individual choices. And then that was when he studied about suicide, that there are some things, for example, suicide is affected by social forces, not just that people just decide to go and then take out their life on that simple basis, for that to be simple. For example, two students fail their exams. One has strong family support and tries again, while the other feel isolated. And then if the other feel isolated, they'll be like isolated and without support, falls into depression. Durkheim would say that society supports systems like family, religion, and friendship help prevent extreme actions like suicide. So at times when you see suicide and other things, sometimes it's not like always that it's supposed to be personal choices that people will go, and then it's sometimes it relates to social things like the society as well. Hope you're getting it. So that was what Durkheim brought about, and what he wanted us to what understand. You getting? That's what he wanted, because he studied he studied society, and then he found out that social factors like family, religion, and community influence people's decision to take their life. So with Durkheim, he was the one who studied about suicide, and he introduced the concept of social factors like tradition, laws, and that shape our behavior. So we get there, and then we explain things. So I just wanted to explain this to you. That's supposed to be simple for you and get how to go about things. So with into continuation, you find out that He was concerned with the characteristics of groups and structure in explaining social phenomena rather than with individual attributes. So with Immanuel Kim, he was trying to let us know that there are some things it's not by our individual choices. Sometimes it is caused by society. So as the example that I gave, for example, you failed a test, and then in case you failed an exam, people were around you trying to encourage you to, and then you're able to try again. But here's the case that you feel that no one is encouraging you. You just fall into depression. Why is it only you, only me? God, why me? God, why me? God, why this? And why that you want to just commit a suicide. It was affected by social factor, because if it's not always that it should be attributed to individual choice, because at times if someone would have been there for that person to encourage him or her that he should put on or he should just try again, he wouldn't have taken his or her life. So this was that's why I said he used suicide approach. Then this was the approach he adopted in the study of the suicide. So he then concluded that suicide rate varied inversely to the degree of social integration and social regulation. On the basis of on the basis of this, he identified four types of suicide. The egoistic suicide. Please kindly take note of this. Egoistic suicide. These things are likely questions that will come into your exams. Take note of this. Take note of this. I won't say it again. So with egoistic suicide, it occurs because of weak group integration. Weak group what? Integration. Weak group integration. That is caused by loneliness, lack of social bonds. That some people, they don't want to be in group, they don't want to be make friends with some people. So sometimes even loneliness can even kill. Some can be like, oh, why am I all lonely alone? We call that egoistic suicide. Egoistic what? Suicide. And then wait, we move on to the next one. That's the altruistic. The altruistic suicide occurs because of extremely strong integration. That's sacrificing oneself for the group, like a soldier in the war. You see, sometimes, for example, like in a relationship, the way you can sacrifice yourself for a man, and the way a man can sacrifice for a lady. So it's to the extreme. But here's the case: after heartbreak, oh God, when there's a heartbreak, how do you feel? You feel like, oh God, I've wasted my life. You feel that pain. And I know whilst we are listening to this, someone might be in that situation as well. So you can see that all these suicide, or maybe those suicide you cause out of heartbreak. Maybe someone go and stand on top of an 8th floor building, and they'll be like, I have to calm down, commit suicide because of heartbreak. We call that altruistic suicide, because yourself have been in it. You sacrifice yourself in that relationship like a soldier in a war. We're getting it. Great. So that's it. And then we move on to the anomic suicide. The anomic suicide talks of happens when society is unstable. So whereby it causes lack of social regulation, like the society is unstable, and every day this is changing, this and that, and every day and even the society can be unstable. Like the society can be unstable, but in its instability, the economic issues rises too much. You can go hungry for the whole week because of the change in society. So if you are going hungry, like, oh, why am I still alive? Hmm? So all these things can even cause suicide. So that one is referred to as the anomic suicide. We have the fatalistic suicide resulting from overregulation. Overregulation. That's the fantastic words. Suicide. Sorry, that's the anomic. No, sorry, that's the fatalistic suicide, as I would say. So, if I would add this to it, with Imelda Kim, he was trying to do that. He was the only one who used the social method, the suicide method. He was like, suicide rates are based on social support. It's very true. Suicide rates like are based on, and that one I can attest to that. People really commit suicide not because they want to commit, but because they wish to get it here. So the fatalistic suicide, it means too much control. Too much control. Prisoners with no hope. For example, prisoners with no hope. There's too much control. You are even in prison for the prison for your life. You're going to stay in prison till you die. You get it? And then there's too much control. So prisoner with no hope, with those side, That's when they commit suicide. Yes, we have prisoners that commit suicide because they think there's no hope, there's no family member who is coming, or there's no even a relative who is coming to bail them out. You get what I'm talking about? Yeah. So that's it. So with Dawkins, he was like the social factors. I said that the social facts related to social institutions should be the subject matter of sociology. As we have to study social institutions. That should be the subject matter according to Dawkins. So he considered that the social facts as things that are in social in nature, external to individual, endure over time and endow with cohesive power, imposing themselves on the individual. So instead of studying the individual, we should rather have the society, or we should study society or social institution as a matter or as a subject matter for sociology, because they are the ones that really influence the individual in the society. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So with reference to this, he defines society as the science of institutions, of their genesis and functioning. Science of institutions. Science of institutions. That means the scientific study. When we talk of science, we use the scientific study of institutions, their genesis and their function. Their genesis means their beginnings and their function. So that was the definition that Durkheim gave. So with him, he came up with a methodology, that the rules of sociological method. He advocated for the comparative method and the functional analysis in the study of what? Social facts. Social facts. So solidarity, in his study, he came of division of labor. That's whereby the mechanical we have the mechanical solidarity, and then we have the organic solidarity. So with his study of division of labor, he was like the mechanical solidarity. In traditional societies, people are similar and share strong collective beliefs. That's for the mechanical. And but for the organic solidarity, it talks of like a modern societies where people are different but depend on each other. So with the mechanical, they are similar and share strong collective beliefs. But with the organic, they are different but depend on each other. Like a doctor, a farmer, doctors and farmers need each other, because farmers provide fruits or provide veggies, provide things for them, and then doctors have to provide medical health for also farmers as well. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Good. So the mechanical solidarity, as I said, is rooted in similarity. So mechanical is attributed in similarity, having a similarity of differences, but they have and also having strong state of collective conscience. But with the organic solidarity, it talks of individual is rooted, even though they are not similar, but they do need each what other. Each other. Please, I hope it's clear. Great. So it came out that religion. He said religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. That is to say that things set apart and forbidden, and practices which unite in one single moral community called church, and all those who adhere to them. So with religion, he a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things. That is to say that things set apart. So that's what he came about. That with him, religion is like things set apart, like things unified system, all do, but we have sacred things. But all these things comes together to unite or to bring a single moral community called the church, and all those who are in them, or those who are adhere to them. So with this, to him, religion performed disciplinary, cohesive, vitalizing, and euphoric functions. He also noted that within a society, it is the societal rules, regulation, and practices that has been given sacred status. So according to Emedo, we know that rules and regulation are the sacred status that we have, just like the ones in church. Okay. So society is therefore God, according to Emil Durkheim. That education, he indicated that it is a social creation to bind individuals to society. So whilst you are learning, whilst you are here to learn, we are trying to bind you to what? The society. Please hope you're getting it. Great. So we move on to the next one. Max Weber. Max Weber. So with Max Weber, He was born in Germany. He was born in Germany. Weber has been designated as a social nominalist since he saw social reality in terms of acting individuals. So social action is the subject matter of sociology. Which Emil Durkheim, he said what? Social institutions is the subject matter of what sociology. But with Max Weber, he said what? Social actions is the subject matter of sociology. So I would like to explain this Max Weber whole idea in simple way. This was like Weber was focused on why people act the way they do, not just what they do, not just what they do. He was trying to study or know why people act the way they do, not just what they do. So he introduced the Verhesen, that's a German word meaning understand, which means sociology should be or should try and see the world from others' perspective. He also studied bureaucracy, whereby explaining how large organizations work using strict rules and hierarchies. Hope you're getting it. Great. So imagine a student who studies hard, not just because of exam, but because they believe education will give them a better future. Don't forget it. So Weber will say that their action is influenced by deeper meanings, not just rules. So even though you are expected to learn, but why do people act the way they act? Not because of what they do or because of strong rules, but rather what? As I gave the example that you have a serious thing and that can be learning, but not just to pass it, but to believe that education has a better future for them. So there's a deeper meaning why there are some people are still here on campus. Hope you get what I'm talking about. Great. So sociological analysis should therefore be concerned about the subject meanings that human actors attach to their actions. So, with according to Maslow, he defines sociology as a science which attempts the interpretive understanding of social actions in order thereby to arrive at causal explanation of it cause and effect. So, with Maslow, he was trying to understand that why is this person doing this? Not just because he's doing it because of by but he wanted to go into deeper understanding of why and some people they are seriously learning, not just to pass exam, but to know that education has a better future for them. So we are getting what I'm talking about. Great. So with Max Weber methodology, he uses the Versen, yeah, the Versen. So advocated for internal understanding. That's the meaning. That's in the study of what human behavior. So with the values, Weber also indicated that values are important in the selection of problems, but researchers should be value neutral in the actual investigation. When I say values should be important in the selection of problems, here's the case that you are coming from a society whereby you believe that this is your value, but because you are a researcher, he said that's why he said, but researchers should be value neutral. You have to put your values away, and you consider the actual investigation and do it because you are a researcher. You want to find out. You just have to put your values away when you go to a community. Just put your values away. Think what they are doing and explain it. Try to investigate. Hope you're getting what I'm talking about. Yes. So the Protestant ethics and the spirit of capitalism. So to him, Calvinist Protestant emphasize on predestined salvation, success, and ascetic what lifestyle. So which resulted in the development of the spirit behind capitalism. Yes. So with this, the ideal type. So with Max Weber, he was having the conceptual to in an analytical construct. That's the ideal type. That serve the investigator as a measuring or rod. So what serve the investigator as a measuring rod is what the ideal. It means that talks of the ideal type. It means that you want to know the perfect thing that you could ever use to measure something. So it came about with the power and authority. So the ability to control in the behavior of others, even in the absence of their consent. Power and authority. Power and authority, according to Max what Weber. So the discussion of legitimacy theory, the legitimate authority. Now we have the three types. You have the rational legal authority that is based on rational grounds. Example like laws, decrees, or regulation. So example is the modern democratic system of government. We have the rational legal authority. And then move on to what the traditional authority that is based on traditions, customs handed down from generation to generation. You get it? Good. And the charismatics authority talks of it rests on a devotion to the specific and exceptional qualities, heroism or es- exemplary exemplary character of an individual. Sorry for that word. So, example, the Gandhi, the Hitler, Jesus among others, you get it. That the charismatic authority way of understanding of the society as Max Weber contributed to that. So the bureaucracy relates to the hierarchical organization operating on the basic of rules, impersonality of relation, meritocracy, separation of private affairs from official duties. So with that, we came up to the casuality. That's Weber believed in the notion of casualty in human affairs, but expressed in terms of probability. Please hope you are getting what I'm talking about. Great. So um as I said, with his contribution according to Max Weber, he talked of the traditional authority. As I said, there are the three types of authority: the legal, rational authority, the charismatic authority, and then he was like, it's his contribution was more of his symbolic inter in yeah, his own was symbolic internationalism. That is, people actions are shaped by their beliefs and interpretations. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So with this, we will pause here for now, and then we will move on to the theoretical or the theoretical perspective in sociology. Wait and also enjoy this lesson, and then we continue on next time. Thank you very much. And this is grade A tutor. Like, subscribe, and share to your friends for them to also learn. I go by the name Ajimai Derek. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.